Why the hell so many people are trying to tell me to slow down? Seems like motherfuckers should be shutting the hell up and enjoying the show.
I told you I would be bringing a part 2 after you viewed my part 1, the exclusive breakdown of all of R.Kelly's alleged pedophile ring members, okay? Now, part 2, as promised, is going to exclusively break down the relationships between the parents and their daughters and R.Kelly. It's also important to know that R.Kelly has yet to be charged for the alleged trafficking and assault on the girls I'm about to unwind in this video, particularly R.Kelly, Dominique Garner, Joycelyn Savage, Faith Rogers, and Hallie Calhoun. All of these girls were allegedly trafficked by R.Kelly and his pedophile ring members, those exposed in my part 1. That video is below in the description box if you want to catch up on all of the details surrounding this entire investigation. I gave you exactly who the feds and whom Homeland Security is talking to, okay? You heard it exclusively from me. Now, the reason R.Kelly has yet to be charged is because despite all of these allegations, you're going to see exactly why most of these girls won't even testify, let alone make a statement, and why it is their parents are having an extremely difficult time with all of this, okay? I'm not holding back anything in this video, and I know personally I've developed some very close relationships with some of the parents, and anything that I tell you, I have no problem telling them over the phone or even asking the tough questions as I have. And I'm bringing them exclusively to you today, okay? Let's go ahead and break down every single one of the girls and their parents that I named, okay? Starting with R.Kelly, okay? And her parents are Angelo and Alice Clary. Okay, we've heard that Azrael has been with R.Kelly since she was 17 years old. Her parents had no clue that there was a sexual relationship, and according to their statement, they were only under the impression that it was strictly work. Now, before I break down R.Kelly's relationship with R.Kelly as well as the parents, I want to go ahead and clear something up that a lot of blogs have been posting about Angelo Clary, her father, regarding some charges that they pulled up that were back from the 90s. 2 of them being a 3rd degree and 4th degree of a sexual offense, and 1 being of an assault, okay? And I want to bring you the paperwork, okay? Black and white, explaining exactly what these charges were and what they consisted of, and how it has nothing to do with his current situation involving R.Kelly and trying to get his daughter back home. Now, here's a screenshot of the police report as well as the indictment. Back in the 90s, unfortunately, Angelo Clary was involved in a lifestyle of selling drugs, okay? He was one of the big dogs in Baltimore. And on this particular day that garnered these charges, he was approached by a confidential informant. And if you want to read, I will also put these same documents on my website, okay? And I will leave a link below in the description box so that you can go and read them for yourselves, okay? These are not fabricated. These are actual documents from his case in the 90s, okay? And so one day, Angelo was driving down the street in a heavily drug-trafficked area in a designated drug-free zone in the area of Baltimore, and the feds sent a confidential informant out to greet Angelo. Angelo and his boys apparently jumped out the car, pushed the confidential informant against the wall, started to search her to make sure she did not have a wire on. And this is exactly what the documents say. And of course, that searching involved them grabbing under the breast area, searching the breast, making sure she doesn't have on a wire. And then they even searched her shopping bag, okay? And during this search, okay, the police were called because the confidential informant tried to get away. Angelo got back into the car along with his boys and were later stopped by the police. And so when the police arrested Angelo, they charged him with the 3rd degree and 4th degree sexual offense as well as the assault, because this is what the confidential informant reported, because she failed to disclose that she was working for the Fed. Days later, Angelo was indicted, and while he was indicted, the charges that were sent by the police department weren't ever challenged, and so they just lingered until he was able to get them thrown out because those charges were false charges. They were bogus charges to cover up an indictment that the feds were building on him, okay? So it had nothing to do with pedophilia, any type of sexual assault charge, any type of rape charge. This was him living a lifestyle that he shouldn't have been living. And we all know how it was back in the 90s during the crack cocaine era. Being in a city like Baltimore, if you've ever been there, is just as bad today as it was back in the 90s, as well as anywhere along the East Coast. And so whatever story you was told about this father who's been pleading, okay, and actually trying to negotiate with R. Kelly behind the scenes on how he could recoup his daughter, and even offered him up to $50,000 just so he could see his daughter for 10 days. You will find no such record on Angelo Clary involving rape, sexual assault on a minor, pedophilia, or anything of a such, okay? And so whoever leaked these charges that were dismissed, and all you had to do was dig a little deeper, and you would have found that these charges were dismissed because they were thrown out because this confidential informant worked for the feds, and he, in fact, ended up serving time on the charges that they had built against him for selling dope, okay? So I just wanted to get that out the way, so just stop with the rumors. The documents are here, and they're below in the description box, okay? Now let's get into R. Clary's relationship with R. Kelly and how their parents came to find out. Now, of course, you've heard on Gayle King, per the Clarys, that R. Clary was still in high school, okay? R. Clary loved singing. Take a look.
Hey guys, it's Lovely Azriel. I'm going to be singing I'm Not the Only One by Sam Smith. So, please like, favorite, subscribe, share it, do all that good stuff for me, you know? Here we go. You and me, we made a vow. For better or for worse. I can't believe you let me down, but the proof's in the way it hurts. For months on end, I've had my doubts, denying every tear. I wish this would be over now, but I know I still need you here. You say I'm crazy, 'cause you don't think I know what you've done. But when you call me baby, I know I'm not the only one.
And so despite what you've heard her say, crying and hysterical as if she is the one on trial, or she is the one that's going to lose her life. I mean, she went to bat for R. Kelly as if she was R. Kelly herself, trying to justify every reason as to why she does not want to have any contact with her parents, which is a very extremely common pattern that I'm going to explain here once we start to unwind some of the other relationships between the parents and their daughters, okay? There's proof to come with it. You guys are smart. You'll figure it out with the actual documents. Now, this video is sponsored by Herbal Results, okay? Makers of the olive leaf extract, a full spectrum health dietary supplement, pretty much a liquid form of some of the best omega-3s extracted from some of the world's best olives in the world. It's a powerful supplement that aids in controlling cholesterol, blood sugar, and it promotes immune health, okay? Visit myoliveleaf.biz below in the description box as well as in the comments. The relationship between Azriel and her parents was a very loving relationship. Anything that Azriel wanted, they gave her, okay? Azriel, at the age of 17, unfortunately, was in a relationship with the boy who she had rode up on and caught cheating and sleeping with another girl. And how Azriel came to be in the care of R. Kelly was during a very vulnerable and weak moment in her life, okay? Azriel was singing. She had a boyfriend. Unfortunately, this boyfriend decided to sleep with another high school girl. Azriel found out about it. The little boy in return told her the reason he was sleeping with her is because Azriel had no time for him and music consumed her life. Soon after she heard that, of course, she was devastated. This was her first love. She had given this boy allegedly her virginity. And as a result, Azriel did try to commit suicide over a boy. Despite what she told y'all on CBS in the morning, there are documents to prove exactly why Azriel Clary attempted suicide. And it had nothing to do with her parents forcing her to sing. It had everything to do with what that boy said about her singing. Per the state of Florida, it's an automatic 5150. When you attempt suicide, you have to go under the care of doctors, regardless of what your parents say. So her parents didn't put her in this institution. She automatically had to go after she attempted suicide, okay? Now, please note, during her time in this facility, particularly the last day, the very next day, her parents decided to purchase her tickets, not to an R.Kelly concert. They purchased her tickets to a Funk Fest concert in the state of Florida to help lift her spirits, to help get her back into a singing environment so she can get back to what she loves and what actually fuels her happiness, okay? So for those of y'all that are saying that her parents took her to an R.Kelly concert and put her on the stage, that is a lie, okay? It was a Funk Fest and there was a variety of other artists there. Now, when R.Kelly actually came on the stage to perform, towards the end of his performance, Azriel ended up on the stage with R.Kelly, partying with him. When his set was over, she exited the stage from the back. Her parents were not there, okay? Because this was something that they gifted her in order to brighten her spirits so that she wouldn't think about taking her life over some nasty ass, little pissy tail ass little boy, okay? So she went to the back. She started singing. Even R. Kelly himself was like, oh my God. They apparently exchanged numbers. Azriel had told her parents that R. Kelly had gave her the number so that he could work with her. She begged her parents if she could work with them, but little did they know that R. Kelly gave her the wrong number, so the mother, Alice Clary, actually called to see if R. Kelly's number was really legit. There was no answer on that number. It actually didn't work. But what they didn't know was that R. Kelly took Azriel's number and proceeded to talk to her over the weekend, okay? So she got out of the hospital, I believe it was on a Friday. On a Saturday, she was at Funk Fest. By Sunday, she's texting, FaceTiming R. Kelly. The parents had no clue about it. And on Monday, when she attended school, she was apparently told that she would be auditioning for R. Kelly on Monday, did not tell her parents, left school early. Her brother confirmed this and went to see R. Kelly. And during that first encounter, that's when they allegedly had sex when she was 17 years old, okay? So for that narrative that's out there that these parents sold their daughter for cash, and I know personally that they've actually tried to pay R. Kelly because he was already broke in order to get their daughter back just for 10 damn days, even though she was already of age. This all occurred in April of 2015, and the parents had no clue. Now, over the course of 5 months, okay, between April, May, June, July, October, and November, Azriel is begging her parents to go to R. Kelly concerts. They did not send her alone. They sent her with some member of the family if they could not make it, okay? She wanted to go just to be in the environment, but they had no clue over the course of the 5 months that Azriel was actually talking and dealing with R. Kelly underage, that their daughter was sleeping with him during these occasions instead of going to get inspired or working with R. Kelly. Now, I do want to back up a little bit because I missed something. During their first encounter, which was a Monday, she left school early. There was a hotel book, and Cheryl Mack, okay, one of the enablers that I explained in part 1, actually gave the authorization for the Mayweather twins to book the hotel so that R. Kelly could engage, allegedly, in sex with an underage girl, something he always does, okay? He sings to him, gets their ass in bed, but unfortunately, during this encounter, Azriel was already weak. She was already vulnerable. One boy had already cheated on her and tried to use her music as a weapon against her to blame her for him cheating, okay? As if it was her fault. R. Kelly, being an almost 50-year-old man, knew exactly what he was doing when he preyed upon this little girl. And this little girl had no clue as to what R. Kelly's plan originally was. And honestly, and I've shared this with the parents, not something that I'm afraid to say here, Azriel, honestly, when you see a girl who's willing to take her life, okay, over a guy, and then she gets out of the hospital from committing suicide, the next day she's in the presence of R. Kelly. A couple days later, after almost committing suicide from her first boyfriend, she's actually in bed with R. Kelly. What do you think that was? Okay, there are a lot of women, and a lot of men may not understand this, but women typically are the most vulnerable when they're coming out of relationships, particularly ones where they've been cheated on. Okay, and so to have somebody like R. Kelly with all of his life experiences tell her everything that she wants to hear in that moment that she did not get to hear from this little boy, she took everything that he said as diamonds, and that's the reason why she's capping for him so hard right now. Okay, she can't see the difference. It's like going from one relationship to another. You take that same shit, that same weakness, that same insecurity into the next relationship, and she actually thinks she knows what actual love is, but she doesn't, okay? Anybody that has to ask a nigga when to use the bathroom, when to eat, when can she talk, who she can talk to, and she cannot have any communication with her parents whatsoever, that's not a relationship. That's a fucking hostage ship. Now, back to how Azriel and R. Kelly became close, okay? Over the next 5 months after she met him after the Funk Fest, she visited and frequented shows of his, okay? Told her parents that she was going to be getting some type of lessons. They even consulted with R. Kelly themselves. And the game that he apparently played on them worked, okay? Now, I've asked them some tough questions like, how on earth could you allow your 17-year-old daughter to be in the guardianship of a woman that you don't even know, okay? And this woman happened to be Valerie Paetynn, okay? We talked about her in part 1. This is who had guardianship over Azriel, and as soon as the Claries signed over guardianship so that R. Kelly, as promised, would produce a hit song, there was actually talks of payment to him. The Claries kept asking him, how much do we have to pay you? Where are the contracts? He said he would get back to him later. Little did they know there were no songs being written, and the only thing that Azriel was doing was screwing R. Kelly. And so while in the care of Valerie Paetynn, a woman who gave her daughter to R. Kelly allegedly at the age of 13, Juice, we talked about them too, okay? It's a mother-daughter team. Valerie is one of the handlers. She's one of the madams, and she keeps the girls in line, okay? And so when R. Kelly finessed the Claries and told them that he was not going to sign Azriel, that he was in fact just going to develop a hit song, and she would then return to her parents after they were done working on the song. According to the Claries, R. Kelly made them feel so comfortable that he would even talk to them about what goes on tour and try to warn them as parents as to what they should look out for when it comes to Azriel. That a lot of people want to discuss, oh, the singing, the in front of the public stuff, the fame, the money, the attention, but nobody talks about what happens behind the scenes on tour buses, the drugs and things like this. And these are some of the things that R. Kelly was talking to the Claries about to make them feel comfortable so that he could work with Azriel, but instead of working with her, he was fucking her. Now, once Azriel's guardianship was signed over to Valerie Paetynn, the same bitch that allegedly sold her daughter Juice at 13, who is still currently with R. Kelly right now, assisting him in his madamatorial needs, okay? I just made up my own name for that shit. We gotta get that whole pedophile guardian a damn name. I asked the Claries personally, why did they sign guardianship over to a woman that they did not know? They said because Azriel was on the brink of being 18 and she threatened to in fact kill herself if she could not work with R. Kelly and pursue singing, okay? And as parents being pressured, they decided to allow their daughter to work with R. Kelly under the guardianship of Valerie Paetynn, but instead that never happened and they lost all communication with their daughter and only got to speak to Valerie Paetynn, okay? And like I said in my first video, nothing leads back to R. Kelly. He has everybody put everything else in their names so that he's not connected to it. If his name was on that hotel room, best believe his ass would be charged with statutory rape of a 17-year-old quick, fast, in a damn hurry. Now, to sum up the Clary's involvement, meaning Alice and Angelo Clary, in regards to getting their daughter back, all of the other parents were making noise, okay? A lot of parents move different than other parents. The first time you probably heard of Alice and Angelo and Azriel was during the Lifetime docuseries, okay? Now, they had been trying behind the scenes, like I said, to negotiate with R. Kelly to pay a ransom just so that they can see their own daughter, okay? He did not bite. No one from his team bit. And so Azriel, being a guy from the streets, okay, we just discussed that, decided to take matters into his own hands, and he made private trips up to Chicago to different shows to track down R. Kelly to look for his daughter, okay? It took him a while to even get the police involved because he wanted to handle it himself because Azriel was already of age. And so for anybody out there personally thinking that this was a money grab for them, if it was a money grab, things would have been a lot different and you probably would have seen them much more in the media than you have in the past, okay? It wasn't until shit popped off is when you actually seen them speak out on this matter because they were trying to handle it the way that they knew, which is the way of the streets, okay? Unlike the Savages, okay? Now, we're about to break that down. Now, I want to apologize to the Savages before I deliver this commentary because I know I'm about to piss them off, okay? Now, I've gotten very close with the Savages, so I can personally speak on this matter. I've been working with them for almost 2 years, okay? They are responsible for a lot of the major stories that I have on this, okay? And I thank them with everything for trusting me with that. But when it comes to the dynamic between their daughter and R. Kelly, and the dynamic between their families, and the relationship between them and their daughter, Joycelyn Savage, the one that you saw assisting Azriel with Gail, okay? Azriel was all in a frenzy. Joycelyn was a little bit more calm. And there's reasons for that, okay? Because Joycelyn is very comfortable where she is. Joycelyn has always wanted to be with R. Kelly and has strategically hid it from her parents. Take a listen.
Wait a minute. I couldn't hear that part.
I just want to keep it just between me and R. Kelly.
But you keep saying that you're 20 years old, and
my parent, you don't know my parents. My parents ain't gonna look at me like, oh, she's 20. No, they're gonna take it seriously. My mom, my dad, they're not gonna be like, yeah, she's 20 years old, but they're gonna be like, trying to be messing around with my daughter like that type thing. And I don't have time for the drama. I rather just keep it between me and him until I'm ready to tell them. Because I know how my parents are. They're gonna be like trying to. They're just gonna. It's just not. It's not gonna make it better if I tell them that we're talking.
But the thing is, Joyce, you want to make grown decisions, so there's no need to hide it.
Yeah, but I want to make sure me and R. Kelly, we have a plan. You know, like, you know, telling Antonio, like, when I go off to college in the spring, I could use him more. You know what I'm saying? Since he's moving to Atlanta. Yeah, his house is being built out here. So I could be in school, I could be staying with him or whatever. My parents don't even know.
What? Now, unlike how Azriel came to know R. Kelly, Joycelyn's situation is just a little bit different, but R. Kelly used the same predatory rays to get her ass in bed the same way he did Azriel, okay? Now, Cheryl Mack allegedly arranged for the Savages to meet R. Kelly so that he could work with Joycelyn, okay? And so Cheryl Mack, like I said, one of the enablers in part 1, London on the Tracks mother. A bitch that I hope catches some major damn charges for her role in this. I don't get this. How do you pimp out little girls and you pimp out your son allegedly? What the fuck do they do that at? Anyway, Joycelyn wanted to sing. Her parents had arranged with Cheryl Mack that they would be flown out to an R. Kelly concert. From there, R. Kelly pulled Joycelyn onto the stage. He said it himself out of his own mouth, the same way Azrael was pulled onto the stage. Even the same two women that are in their 40s that are represented by Gloria Allred were pulled onto the stage at 15 and 16 when they were in Baltimore, and they were sexually assaulted by R. Kelly, allegedly in a hotel room. That's a whole nother story. I'm just trying to build the pattern here, okay? And so when Joycelyn entered the stage, somehow there was an exchange of a phone number, and Joycelyn, because she was already of age, she was in college, she hid the fact that they even exchanged numbers and was talking to R. Kelly behind her parents' back, okay? And we've heard during the recording that I put out 10 months ago that she strategically hid this because she knows how her parents are. Now, we've all seen how Joycelyn's parents are, okay? I would be afraid to come and tell them anything too, given the way that they've presented Joycelyn to us, which I don't agree with in any way, shape, or form, okay?
Okay.
What was her name?
No, I'm finna call.
What was her name?
He's ready to call him. He's about to call him.
What was her name?
So you had sex with a girl.
What was her name?
Oh my God.
What was her name?
He's ready to call him. He's ready to call him right now. He's like, I'm looking at him, about to call him. Please answer questions.
If you don't answer.
He's about to.
Her name's April. It's one.
Who is April?
Joy. Joy. Please.
Who is April?
Please. It's here. Please.
Who is April?
Okay.
Please tell the truth.
Yeah, why are you trying to call
Who
her?
is April?
Okay, you tell him don't try.
Who is April?
You sorry.
Mr.
Who is April?
So you had sex with her?
Who is April? Is that one of his girls too?
Let me
I
call
only had
her.
sex with one person. That's
Who is
it.
April?
Oh my God.
So R. Kelly made you have sex with another girl? Let me call this
Who is
nigga.
He's
April?
calling. He's calling.
I'll curse his ass out.
He made you have sex with
You
another
did not
girl?
make me have sex with
You
another
wanted to
girl.
have sex with her?
No, I didn't. Oh my God.
You didn't want to have sex. Who is April? Who is April?
Who is April?
Who is April?
Who is April?
This is getting old.
Who is
Why do we
April?
keep talking about R. Kelly?
R. Kelly made you have sex with another
No,
girl?
nobody made me have sex with nobody.
So how did it happen? Did you want to have sex with her?
Oh my God.
Did you want to have sex with the girl?
No, it was just at the moment. Nobody
It was at the moment because R. Kelly made you have sex with the girl. That's why you had
Who
sex
is
with the girl.
April?
Hold up. What happened? What you mean? R. Kelly wanted you to have sex?
No, I'm saying at the moment it was at the time, but it was just a one-time thing. That's
He had sex with her too?
What do you mean?
R. Kelly had sex with her too?
Obviously,
You had
but in my chest, I don't know anything about the other girls. That's what I'm saying.
Get that nigga on the phone.
Who is April? Who is April?
Please tell the truth.
See, these people they keep asking you. You'll notice they'll stop asking you said the truth. It's right here.
Who is
We
April?
all just read.
Now, I know I've been part of the problem as far as exploiting her, but when I look back on it, I'm like, damn, if I were Joycelyn and my parents put videos out of me possibly having an STD or giving R. Kelly head, just really private, intimate conversations, who would I feel safe with? Okay, this is a question that I would ask myself if I was with someone like R. Kelly and I had parents like the Savages, and the parents just move a little different. They believe in holding no bars back. I get that, but some kids do not respond to that type of parenting, and I think that if they were just the type of parents that kind of just consoled her, that dealt with her in a very different manner, meaning leaving the public out of this, I think they would have had a better response with her before she cut them off completely and never spoke to them again, okay? Now, I personally believe that at the request of R. Kelly and what Joycelyn wanted, because she wanted to be with R. Kelly, clearly, and her saying that she has never wanted to sing, that's a lie. We've heard her sing. I personally don't think she's a good singer.
Hi, you guys. I will be singing Lauryn Hill, Killing Me Softly. Alright, so here you go. Strung my pain with his fingers, singing my life with his words, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly with his song, telling my whole life with his words, killing me softly with his song.
But To each his own. But that's besides the point, whether she wanted to be a singer or not. But my thing is, I just think that the way the Savages have gone about this, the way they've exploited her, no different than what R. Kelly has done behind the scenes, I don't think personally that Joycelyn's case is as serious as all the other cases, because Joycelyn wants to be there as an adult. Now, one thing I do not agree with, okay, and this is one thing I've worked with the Savages on, it would be different, and I've asked them personally, okay? I've also asked the Clarys personally. If, let's say, the scenarios were different and these girls met and had a relationship with R. Kelly, but it was an open door policy, meaning they could come home. They could communicate with their parents. Would you be as concerned as you are now? Would you be in the media pleading for your daughters to come home? All of them said no, because that's what their daughters wanted to do. Although they may have not supported the relationship, but the fact that their daughters are not allowed to eat, not allowed to talk to them, and when they do talk to them, it's the same sentence: I'm fine, I don't want to leave, I just want to be here, please don't call me again. Regardless of what anybody tries to say, that is not a normal dynamic to any relationship, okay? There's a difference between R. Kelly sleeping with minors, okay, which is illegal. There's a difference between R. Kelly sleeping with 14-year-olds, okay? That is illegal. It's two different things. But there's a difference between R. Kelly sleeping with girls who are of age, but they're not allowed to have any sort of communication, eat, go outside, talk to anybody, have to wear sweatsuits. That, my friend, is trafficking. That is human trafficking, okay? That is assault. When you withhold food from a human being, when they are locked in their rooms, when they cannot talk to their parents at all, okay? And so I personally think that Joycelyn just got her nose spread a little wide open. I've heard personally that R. Kelly is exceptional in bed, and Joycelyn doesn't strike me as the type, nor any of these girls do, as the type to kind of make up their own minds as to what's a healthy relationship and what's not. But when you have parents that are hard on you, like the Savages, and then they exploit you at the same time, it's like, you know what? I think that I'm better off here because R. Kelly doesn't like me on social media, and he's telling me that my parents are out to get me and they don't care about me. And then when I do see the media and I see my parents exploiting me like that, my most intimate and personal details of what I've done in the bedroom, my STD status, I think she's found her comfort in the comfort of somebody like R. Kelly, which is unfortunate, but it's like looking at who is the lesser evil in this situation. And so I honestly wish that I can side with the Savages in this case. And this is not to bash them. This is the absolute truth. Coming from someone who was 19, who was fucking rebellious. And honestly, because I was treated so bad by my family, I found comfort in strangers. And I think this is what Joycelyn, honestly, not that I think, I know that this is what Joycelyn has done, okay? Now, there was something that really kind of struck me the wrong way also when it came to the Savages is when I saw what they posted on their YouTube, okay? Despite exploiting their daughter, pushing her away, not listening to her, ganging up on her and things like that, using the media to do it, I'm guilty of this as well. And I honestly apologize for my role in it. I'm learning as I truly go in this industry. I'm not perfect at all things, and nor am I gonna pretend to be. But when I did see that the Savages uploaded videos of themselves painted as the family, and I saw that this was a pitch for a reality show and that they were pitching a reality show to different networks to journey the rescue of Joycelyn, their daughter, I said, oh, hell to the fucking no, okay?
Red light, green light, 1, 2, 3. Won't you come and dance with me now? Stop. Woo woo, get with it. Woo woo. Red light, green light, 1, 2, 3. Won't you come and dance with me now? Stop. Woo woo, get with it. Woo woo. Red light, green light, 1, 2, 3. Won't you come and dance with me now? Stop. Woo woo, get with it. Woo woo. Red light, green light, 1, 2, 3. Won't you come and dance with me now? Stop. Woo woo, get with it. Woo woo. Quiet, don't talk, new dance, like walk, bend low, creek walk, sneak up, look off, turn your head, move your hands real soft. Get with it.
Family, 2 and 2. We're what? We're what? We're what? Back. There's Blake. What, Blake? Oh, look who we got right there, y'all. Y'all know who that
Hey,
is?
YouTube family. I came down here to spend time with my family, Tim, the Savages, and we are having a fabulous time.
Here, the family is in the house because we are who we are. The family.
The family.
That's right. Listen, stay tuned. 1 and 2.
There's nothing like the family.
I personally, as a parent, I have a daughter. I just couldn't see myself pitching a reality show in order to get my daughter back, okay? How do I know that my daughter wants to be exploited? This is a serious case for me. And like I said, everybody moves a little different, and I just don't agree with the way they've been moving, but that's them as a family, okay? We can all agree to disagree, but I personally think that this is why Joycelyn will probably be the last to come home, because she's like, what am I coming home to? Now, do I think that Tim Savage or his wife, Jonjolyn Savage, has requested any money or demanded any money from R.Kelly? No, but I do think personally, given all the recordings and the videos and the reality show, that they were going to profit in a different way off of this, which doesn't look good to anybody. Not to say that they had ill intentions behind it. Like I said, people just move and they think different, and sometimes they don't think of how these things will translate to the public, okay? And so if they're honestly offended by my commentary, there's nothing I can say, but I'm keeping it as honest as well. Do I think that they sold their daughter? No. But do I think that they genuinely wanted their daughter back? Yes. But do I also think that they probably tried to profit a little bit off of this, not from R. Kelly, but from all of it? The reality shows, the documentaries and things like this? Absolutely, okay? And I also say this too because they do have a younger daughter that goes by the name of Jai Savage, who is very outward on social media, okay? She's a beautiful girl, just like Joycelyn and their other little sister. And I'm just thinking, you know, as parents, like you got one daughter who was the victim of a celebrity, and when you got another daughter who's in the limelight because they are using all forms of social media and television and mainstream media to make pleas to their daughter, I'm thinking she's gorgeous, she's beautiful, I know she's of age now, but why would you encourage this type of behavior? When I do scroll her Instagram, unfortunately, I am saddened by it because I'm thinking like, you know, their lifestyle is moving a little different. They're in different circles and celebrity circles, and I just wouldn't want Jai to be preyed on just like her sister was, okay? And then she would find comfort in the hands of a celebrity, partly because they can promise her or give her the lifestyle that she's been encouraged to live. Being a model, being a singer, it got Joycelyn in trouble. What makes you think it won't get your youngest daughter in trouble at all, okay? And so now, moving on to Faith Rogers, okay? And her mom, Mrs. Kelly Rogers. Their dad hasn't really been in the public eye, but believe me, behind the scenes, he's been handling things a different way, okay? So we know who Faith Rogers is. Faith Rogers was a 19-year-old who met R. Kelly despite what you guys have heard at an after party. Her sister Angel, who is in her 40s, took Faith to a concert, and then after that, they bought after party tickets, and this is when Faith actually met R. Kelly. Now, despite what you've heard as well about Faith's intentions, okay? And I'm going to explain that, a narrative that was painted by Mr. Tim Savage. I'm going to actually give you the facts when it comes to that conversation of him saying that Faith Rogers was actually lying.
That Faith needs to get her ass checked, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to check her motherfucking ass.
Okay,
well. I pulled her mama to the side. We was in that goddamn room. And I told her mom, I said, you need to check your daughter. I got 4 hours of motherfucking audio tape and video tape. You need to check that bitch and put her where she belongs. Because her ass is like a loose cannon right now. Now people end up in boxes when they motherfucking ass like a loose cannon. Yeah, she all over the place. The mama can't control that little bitch.
Well, maybe she all over the place because she lying. When it comes down to Faith, I'm skeptical about Faith. I don't know.
That bitch lying. I can let you listen to 4 hours of motherfucking tape. That bitch mama told her to go back and get some more motherfucking proof.
I want to explain Faith and R. Kelly's relationship. They were together for almost a year. After the concert, they exchanged numbers. They were FaceTiming and texting over the course of 2 months, okay? Now, Kelly Rogers, her mother, came to find out about the relationship that she did not know about when they were out shopping and she saw Faith on FaceTime with R. Kelly. Kelly then asked her, why are you talking to him? What does he want? Faith immediately hung up the phone. 19 years old, you're rebellious, you think you know everything, and completely shut the conversation down. Now, Faith kind of blew it off and told her mom that it was really nothing. Kelly didn't think anything of it. She's had every reason to kind of trust her daughter and didn't want to think any less of her. But over the course of the remaining 8 months after they were FaceTiming for 2 months and texting, Faith started to stay with a friend. And during those weekend getaways, because she was of age, Faith was traveling to see R. Kelly at different concerts and things like that. And that's when the locking of her in a van for 8 hours took place. The sexual assault at the hotel, the day that she wasn't ready to have sex. And he coerced her and he persuaded her into having sex, which is a form of trafficking, okay? Human trafficking, when you use coercion in order to entice people to have sex with you, okay? It's kind of like forcing them. And unfortunately, when you're 19, 18, 17, hell, even 20 years old, and you've been bred your whole life to listen to adults, to listen to your parents, despite sometimes we may rebel. And when you meet somebody that's got age on them like R. Kelly, and you look at them not only as an artist, but damn, they are an authoritative figure too. So whatever they say, I've been partly trained subconsciously to do as they say. And this is what happens when you have a grown ass nigga like R. Kelly who preys on young girls, because he knows exactly what to say and what to do. And so during those times, Faith was sneaking out on the weekends to see R. Kelly because she was still under the care of her parents, still living with her parents. She had to tell her parents where she was going to and from, but unfortunately, she did what all teenagers do because she knows that if she breaks the rules, there's going to be consequences because she still lives in the house. Despite her being over 18, you still got to follow rules here and respect this house. And so she did something no different than any other girl or teenage guy has done, and unfortunately wounded herself up in a situation that she did not even tell her parents about. She ended up breaking it off when she heard about Joycelyn Savage's parents making a plea for her on the news because she had spoken with Joycelyn. Faith Rogers personally reached out to her parents. Her parents still had no idea of everything that went on between her and R. Kelly as far as they were concerned, that it was a done deal after that conversation in the store, and there was no communication between them. Faith reached out to Tim Savage, confided into Tim Savage as to what happened, told him that she had actually saw his daughter as well, and he instructed her to get tested for herpes, okay? And also instructed her that she needed to tell her parents so that they could go to the authorities. Faith was still hesitant about telling her parents. She didn't want to violate their house rules or partly get in trouble or be to blame for any of this. And so she decided to go get tested, found out she did contract herpes, and that's when all shit hit the fan, okay? Now, Kelly Rogers and her husband and Faith were all thankful to Tim for kind of exposing all of this and getting Faith to the realization that she had been preyed upon, and then to be giving an STD, knowing that R. Kelly has had that STD for years. But anytime someone knows that they have an STD and fails to disclose that STD, that is illegal. And so although Faith hasn't suffered what most of the girls have suffered, the fact that he even laid down with her knowing that he had an STD and slept with her unprotected, no, that is not her fault. That is just some nasty shit to do. But he's been doing it the entire time for almost 20 damn years. And so after realizing that she did have a case and she was going to sue for the sexual assault, as well as giving her an STD, this was all because Tim had told her and the family what to do. Faith was going to leave it alone. Now, let's talk about the breakdown, okay, that we saw on Daytime Tea Time's channel. And there was an audio that was actually given to Candace trying to paint a different pictures of the victims, okay, in the favor of R. Kelly. Now, what you heard during this recording, take a look.
That Faith needs to get her ass checked. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to check her motherfucking ass.
Okay,
that's when I pulled mama to the side. We was in that goddamn room. And I told her mom, I said, you need to check your daughter. I got 4 hours of motherfucking audio tape and videotape. You need to check that bitch and put her where she belongs. Cause her ass is like a loose cannon right now. The people eat up in boxes when they motherfucking ass like a loose cannon. Yeah, she all over the place. The mama can't control that little bitch.
Well, maybe she all over the place because she lying. When it comes down to Faith, I'm skeptical about Faith. I don't know.
Yeah, that bitch lying. I can let you listen to 4 hours of motherfucking tape. That bitch mama told her to go back and get some more motherfucking proof.
You heard Tim calling her every name in the book, saying that he actually had proof that Faith was actually lying, okay? But let me tell you exactly what he's talking about and why he's so angry, because no one has came forward to tell you exactly what it is. But I've always known even before the recording took place, all right? Now, Tim and the Rogers were very close. Tim was instrumental in helping Faith to come to terms with what had happened to her. They were very thankful. Now, during that Lifetime docuseries premiere, the one in New York where they received the bomb threat, some shit had transpired between the kids, okay? The kids only. Now, one of Faith's friends ended up calling Tim Savage's daughter, demanding that she do something. And from there, Tim got all the way pissed off and threatened to expose Faith and Miss Rogers for lying. Now let's talk about this lying, because it's really not what you guys think, okay? It's kind of painted in a way to make it look like it's something more than it is, but it's really not. Do you remember when Faith actually gave TMZ a recording of R.Kelly, and he was talking and he was saying that, I don't want to talk about anything on the phone. I don't want to discuss any of that. Well, because Tim had kind of coached Faith on what to do, because they had no physical evidence or physical proof as to what R. Kelly had did, both of the families, the Rogers had gotten an attorney and decided to get evidence on R. Kelly. No different than a stakeout, okay? Which means this would consist of recordings, Faith probably flying back to meet with R. Kelly so that she can get evidence, hopefully wear a wire. Now, during that recording, most of you didn't know that it was also Faith on the phone, her attorney, and the police trying to gather evidence so that they could charge him. And it'll be a little easier, but R. Kelly's smart. He's been in this game a long damn time. And so he wasn't falling for the shit, okay? And so Faith having trust in Tim, because Tim Savage actually helped her to come to terms and to actually face R. Kelly, despite all of the threats that he had sent her, saying that he was going to expose all of the men that she had been with and expose her photos, which is revenge porn and things like that, intimidation tactics. She shared with Tim what they were planning to do, and Tim took it as an extortion plot, which it wasn't, okay? And so by him saying that Faith is lying in this recording, this is what it really was about. This is what he's saying that he has on Faith, which it could possibly ruin her case, but it can't ruin her case because she was instructed by her attorney and the authorities was on the phone at the same time when this was organized, okay? And so Tim didn't actually know all of that because they kind of cut off contact while they were building their case against R. Kelly, meaning the Rogers. This is what I'm going to leave it at right now until there's more being said. Now, if this is challenged, I will come out with everything and tell you exactly what the conversation was about and what pissed him off, okay? And what pissed him off is Faith checking his daughter. But as far as Faith lying, no, she's not lying. And I know it's extremely hard to prove who actually gave you an STD. Her having the courage as a teenager to come on national TV and tell exactly what went on between her and R. Kelly, that was enough proof in itself, okay? Because teenagers don't do that shit, okay? Hell, some adults don't even do that shit, including Mama Bear, Andrea Kelly. Has she told you what she got? And she was with him over 10 years. Has she told you who she screwed? What kids she's given him as a gift to have sex with? No, she ain't told you none of that, okay? And so what Faith has done is extremely courageous, and I don't think she should be faulted for that just because she's holding holding someone accountable for infecting her with a damn STD. You infect me with an STD, I'm letting everybody know, because I'm a different type of bitch, okay? I'm just a different type of bitch, and I applaud her for having the courage to put her business out like that and to fight this head on. It may be difficult, but I don't blame her for anything that she's doing. And what does she have to lie about? She was 19. She was of age. She went to see R.Kelly. She had sex with R.Kelly. He did some of the things that he's done to the other girls that they've admitted, particularly Dominique Gardner, which we're about to unwind right damn now. Okay, I hope y'all got y'all wine. It's a lot. Whew, I told y'all. Hold on. I told y'all in part 1 that Dominique and her mother were partly enablers, okay? Now, Dominique was a part of the cult. You've seen Dominique out on the streets with Joycelyn Savage when that was a staged interview, making sure everything goes right. And I also told you that despite what picture is trying to be painted during that Lifetime series, like Dominique was somehow rescued. No, she wasn't, okay? Now, I've personally spoken to Dominique, despite what you've heard from various outlets. I do know, okay, for a fact, and I don't give a shit what Michelle Kramer has to say. That's lying ass bitch, and I'm saying it to her damn face on this camera, okay? And that's why I've refused to speak with her over the years regarding this situation, because she knew I was gonna put fire under that ass, because I already knew what part she played in all of this, okay? Michelle actually accepted Dominique sleeping with R.Kelly. She didn't oppose it, okay? She said that Dominique was going back and forth to R.Kelly's house, free to go, bringing back gifts and things like that. And she didn't start to get word until the gifts stopped. And she had no contact with her daughter, and R. Kelly's money actually dried the fuck up. All you gotta do is read in between the lines. She done interviews. And just like I said before, let's talk about that staging. Let's talk about that Lifetime docuseries supposed rescue, okay? I told you that Michelle was dating one of R. Kelly's bodyguards. Michelle has stated for herself that she accepted the relationship, and now she's out here profiting, but won't allow her daughter to speak. Anybody that Dominique has spoken to has been behind her mother's back, and anybody will tell you that has done interviews with her. She will not talk while her mother is present at all, because Dominique has honestly moved from one controlling situation, which she was courageous to do, when he wouldn't allow her to eat, talk to her parents, see her brother, anything like that. It moved into another one because her mother has book deals and movie deals that she needs to solidify, and this story is gonna be her ticket into motherfucking fame, all right? Now, and just in case you're doubting what I'm saying, let's listen to a recording between myself and Dominique that I personally recorded. We're a one-party state in Georgia, and I had all the permission to record this without even telling her. All of my conversations are pretty much recorded if it has to do with the story. Now, personal friends, I don't give a shit. Take a listen. Here we go.
Hey.
Hey, is this Tashak?
Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
This Dominique, right?
Yes, that's it.
Wow. I'm really shocked that you actually called. Thank you.
No problem. You're welcome.
So I just read your statement that you made about, like, he doesn't need to go to jail. You really mean that?
Yes, I do.
Wow. Okay. So can I ask you a question?
Sure.
The rescue scene in the documentary, what was that about?
That's something I had no knowledge about. Like I tell people and have what you have heard and the world have heard, that I didn't know that was going to happen. I'm in the hotel and I get a knock at the door, and that's what happened.
I mean, I believe that part as far as you not knowing, but as far as your mom knowing where you were, like, that's the only part that just really just kind of was like, wow, the other parents can't get to their kids, but she always finds you. But as far as you knowing that there were cameras there and everything, I totally believe that part.
I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Is there any way that you and I could meet?
I'll be coming to Atlanta.
Okay.
At the end of the month, so maybe we can find some time within our schedule.
Okay. And if not, if something, comes up between then, I'll be happy to host you here. Sure. No one has to know.
Tasha,
what's up?
As you got to become a mother, why are you bashing my mother? Like, 'cause I always had respect for you. You know, when the whole story came out, like I said, you was listening to Geronda. Then that's when Geronda, I guess, confessed to you that it was a lie because she was mad at me. But then you did it again. I was literally going to talk to you yesterday. Then the video came out. And I'm like, oh.
So you asked
what
me a
happened?
question. You said, I'm a mother. How could I bash another mother? It's
Yeah.
because I am a mother.
Oh, you have a child already?
I'm pregnant with my second.
Okay,
Do you have any children?
I do not.
Okay. I know people, it's hard to grasp when you don't have kids or anything like that. And I'm not here to tell you that you cannot in any way fathom, but when you carry a child for 9 months and you raise that child, you birth that child, your mom and we can understand that. And so for me, and I came from a very troubled childhood and past, knowing what I know now as a mother, that was a choice that my mom made. And that severely affected my sisters and I based on her choices. I don't care if 15, 16, 17 or anything like that. Now, I do know that you were with him since 17. I will update them on Monday when I do my part 2. But you were a child. You were a child. And I don't care what anyone says. When you are a mother, this is mother to mother. Whatever choices your children make is a direct reflection upon you as a parent. And your mom has been trying to talk to me for a long time. I would not talk to her. She didn't want me talking to Geronda. She didn't want me talking to anybody. And so this has nothing to do with you. As you notice, I did not bash you. How could I bash you? And so that was a conversation. That message was directly to your mother. And I wish I could say, hey, I was wrong, but I'm sorry, but I'm a mother. And I know that the choices that our kids make, especially when they're young, is a direct reflection upon our parenting. And I'm sorry, I just can't take that back.
Okay. All right. That's fair enough.
So I don't know you. She's your mom. You're going to love her regardless. I love my mom regardless of the mistakes that she's made. So I don't expect anything less. I don't even expect you not to have a relationship with your mom. But as far as her actions, I'm sorry.
I mean, her action was genuine.
To you.
Because at the end of the day, I don't know, I guess we both have different views on it. Like I said, I'm not a parent, so I can't really relate to your point of view and to her point of view or to my point of view.
Will you have children one day?
Yes, of course I want to have children.
Great. And that experience is going to change everything about you. The Dominique that you think you know now, it's going to be completely a 1,000% different person when you have children.
Agreed.
And I don't expect you to understand it now. We can agree to disagree, but if your mother were here, that would be something I would share to her face.
So when did she reach out to you? Was it before
She
I came
has
home,
tried
after
to.
I came home?
This was before you came home. This was through Kelly Rogers. She's tried to reach out to me through Tim Savage. And I mean, I'm telling you on the other line, I want to talk to her. And this was back around the time when I was speaking with Geronda. And Geronda was sharing her story. And regardless of what you've heard, now I know you and Geronda have a kind of a weird past. Geronda has never wanted to bash you. Never.
But the thing about me, I don't agree with that because, that's my mother at the end of the day. Right,
I get that. And I don't expect you to.
And people who bash her is not going to want to make me closer to you or build a relationship with you. Because I was literally willing to give you an interview, but when you put the blog up, I didn't even know about people texting me, calling me like, oh, did you hear what Tashak said about your mom, this and that? Because everybody know that my mother is a sensitive subject to me. And that's what him took away from me. He knew like, oh, well, if I don't let her go home and see her mother, that's going to hurt me. And it did to the core. So people know how to get to me because that's like the only thing I actually care about besides her and my little brother. Because if you read in the article, that's the reason why I left, because he was like, no, you can't go home and see your little brother. I'm like, oh, well, I can't even go to his graduation. What do kids have to do with it at this point? So people know the two closest things to me is my little brother and my mother. And when you come from them, it's like you coming from me. So how can I have respect for you and want to sit down and talk to you or build a relationship with you when you're going to hurt me because you're hurting them?
Well, my intentions are not to hurt her. Me and her don't know each other.
No, it's not hurting her, it's hurting me. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, she has nothing to do with it. But I was willing to call you yesterday like we agreed on. And that's when the interview, I mean, not the interview, but the blog came out about you, you know, talking about her. I was just like,
well, let me ask you a question. Okay. Do you hold your mom responsible for anything that you've gone through with R.Kelly? Why is that?
I blame me because at the end of the day, I knew what was right. I knew what was wrong. What he did to me, I have never experienced in my household. Like, I can count on one hand how many times I have gotten a whooping from my parents. You know, so when that was happening to me, it was something like, I'm not used to this. This is not normal. But when you love someone, you accept it because you think it's going to get better. And like he said on his little interview, yes, I apologize every time I know I did something. He did. But then he kept doing it. It's like a parent punishing their child. You're not going to see your parent as a monster. Oh, they hate me or they don't love me because they're doing these things. You're going to look at it like, oh, well, that's my parents still. And that's how I looked at it.
Look, there's no way I can sit here and tell you how you should feel about your mom. Like, that is a bond that is there, and no one will ever be able to see the inside of that. But I'm talking about if my child at 16 or 17 is in the hands of someone like R.Kelly, which, if he was white, it would be a completely different conversation. Because white folks don't play when it comes to their kids. Black folks, I've come up in, in the hoodest of the hoods, and they will cover some shit up. They will make some excuses. They will, sugarcoat or make it seem as if it's not what it is. But it really is that, because they don't want to take responsibility for their part. And all I'm saying to you, there is no way that your parents, your mother, your father cannot share the responsibility with you. That is not all on you, Dominique. And that is not your burden to carry by yourself. And I don't know if you've done any therapy. I don't know if you've done any extensive counseling. I've gone through counseling for 6 years of my life because of my troubled childhood. And there's shit in those sessions that will come up and you're like, wow, wait a minute. Not once did a counselor ever bash my mom. Not once did a counselor ever bash my dad. But it helps me to realize who's really responsible for the things that I've gone through. And that's all I'm saying. I know that you're just fresh out, even though it's only been months or whatever. I've seen your posts. You still care deeply about him.
Correct.
And so I didn't even expect an interview for you to bash him. I didn't even expect for you to call me and be like, oh, okay, it's going to be all good with us because of how I feel about your mom. You'll be surprised how many victims I've talked to and the way that I feel about their parents are people who have supported this type of behavior. We can agree to disagree, but that doesn't mean I'm going to have respect for you, because if you can't, as a parent to a parent, woman to a woman, black woman to a black woman, take responsibility to say, hey, I was responsible just as my daughter, and now I have book deals, I have movie deals, I have interviews. Those things should be yours, not hers. That's your story to tell. And so what I'm saying is everything that you went through, and to see her reaping the benefits and then you feeling bad because you felt like, oh, I wasn't able to see my parents or be there for my little brother, so this is what she should get. No. I'm sorry. I just cannot. No disrespect to you. Not even no disrespect to her. But I just can't rock with that. There's no way I'm going to benefit off of my daughter's pain. There's no way.
Okay.
And you can't tell me what you went through. Even though you love him deeply, that relationship wasn't painful. And if anybody should write a book, it should be you.
Now, what you heard during that conversation was a bunch of bullshit, okay? A brainwashed female who has no clue as to what in the hell to do, okay? She don't know who she should hate, but she's thinking like, at least I'm not under the care of R.Kelly anymore. My mom is a little bit more lenient, but I can't cross her either because she has plans, and I know personally that she's been aiding and abetting in R.Kelly beating my ass all of these years. Now, you heard Dominique say that she doesn't think R.Kelly should go to jail. She actually still loves him. But then in the other sentence, she says that he broke me down. He beat me. But I love my mother too. It's the same thing. But then you hear her say in the recording, I love my mom. He knew that he could keep my mom from me, and that's what he would use to get to me to break me down. And I don't like nobody talking about my mama. But like I told you personally, Dominique will not speak to anybody unless her mother is present. And the reason this phone call took place was because after I put out part 1, Michelle was out here on social media talking about she was going to get lawyers and calling me a liar. And honestly, she thought that she was going to get Dominique to make me retract my damn statement about what I said, but that didn't damn happen, okay? And so as you can hear, Dominique is talking very slowly. She's switching. She's trying to get me to admit things that Geronda lied and shit like that, because Geronda has also exposed Michelle Kramer too for accepting sex dolls and shit like that and pimping her daughter out as well and getting Gucci bags. And she actually has a candy store funded by R.Kelly. All expenses paid by her daughter losing patches of her hair. And so for Dominique to even tell me that she did not know that Lifetime was coming, which I personally told her in the recording, as you heard, that I personally believe her on that. But what I don't believe is that her mother has zero communication with her, because it's just a coincidence. No, it ain't no damn coincidence. Dominique has always had complete contact with her mother. She's never been cut off. She's been allowed to fly home and fly back and bring gifts. And you've heard Michelle Kramer say that. And then when the gifts stopped because R. Kelly's money was drying up, the Savages was out here making noise saying that they was having a cult and shit, and shows was getting canceled. That's when Plan B took effect. And that's why Michelle Kramer decided to call her daughter up at the hotel, asked what hotel she was in, told Lifetime that she was going to get her daughter because she had a motherfucking check to go get. The $5,000 that Dominique spoke about in the video that she put out after she was fake rescued because her mama knew what she was. And it's just funny, how does her mama know where she at? And she's in the room with probably Joycelyn that day, but nobody else knows where their daughter's at. But this is a woman that has communicated with all of the parents, okay? She knows the Rogers. She's spoken with the Rogers. She's spoken with the Savages. She's spoken with the Clarys. Michelle Kramer knows all of the parents. But if Dominique is at the house and she actually has the ability to call Dominique to ask her where she at, why she couldn't tell where the other girls were, why she couldn't tell the parents where their daughters were and shit like that so they can get their daughters back. Why? Because she knew what Dominique was to begin with. And that's why R. Kelly quickly checked Gail during the interview. Now that part was true. He was lying about a lot of shit. But when he told Gail to be careful, when she mentioned Michelle Kramer, it's because he knew exactly how much money he had pumped into Michelle Kramer in exchange for pulling her daughter's damn hair out and shit. That's why. Now she can run tell her lawyers that shit. And so as I stated before, every single person that has spoken to Dominique knows that Dominique won't say shit around her mother because she is in a controlled environment, because she needs to get the hell out of her mother's house. And so she's working at a movie theater, dating another 50-year-old man, trying to save money so that she can live out on her own. And I'm sure probably when she does move out on her own, she may implicate her mother, but I don't think she would probably want to implicate her mother in a federal investigation, knowing that they have a brother. Dominique just don't strike me as that type of person, because hell, she won't even tell on R. Kelly because all of these girls mostly still love him, okay? Now let's talk about last and not least, Hallie Calhoun, okay? You remember the video? She was sitting in the car with the madam here, okay? And she's been the madam here, Cash Howard, okay, being investigated for human trafficking, meaning she's helping to house the girls when they leave R. Kelly with bruises and shit on their face. They go to her, she get them in circles if they still got it. Hallie was the one that still had it and is actually in circles dating a basketball player, I believe, okay, and won't say shit about R. Kelly because her mama took a payment and signed a damn NDA. Let's talk about Hallie here, okay? Now, nobody knows when Hallie actually got with R. Kelly, but what we do know is what her mammy know, okay? And what her mammy told us, because her mammy was trying to get her back, and this is what R. Kelly made her do in order to have any type of contact with her own daughter, Hallie Calhoun, who is profiting hard still at the expense of R. Kelly and one of his alleged handlers, Cash Howard, okay? And Cash, you could tell your lawyer to keep sending stuff via FedEx. I ain't getting it because you don't know where I stay. Now, I run to that, Cash. I said that, okay? You ain't taking shit down and you ain't ceasing and desisting shit over here, okay? You are at the center of a federal investigation by the Department of Homeland Security and you are newsworthy, sister, okay? Now, Hallie Calhoun's mama aided in abetting, but in a different way. I think her intentions were good, but they were kind of just like, nah, hell no, they weren't good. They was just like Michelle Kramer's, okay? Now, the Savages reached out to Laura Calhoun, who is Hallie Calhoun's mom, to kind of get information on their daughter and who's all helping to care for the girls, how is he able to get away with this? And Hallie Calhoun's mom was instrumental in letting the Savages know a lot of shit, okay? Now, there's some text messages that were exchanged between the Savages and between Laura Calhoun so you can get an idea of how R. Kelly rolls, okay? So we're gonna read some text messages that Hallie's mammy wrote informing the Savages of exactly what she was going through trying to get access to her own daughter, somebody that she birthed that R. Kelly wouldn't allow her to see or talk to at all, okay? There's a pattern. Let's read, shall we? Here we go. Please visit Carmarshal below in the description box as well as in the comments. From there, you're going to use the link. You're going to enter your zip code. They're going to find a car for you in your area so it cuts down you having to go from dealership to dealership. Allow Carmarshal below in the description box to help you find your car first. Bad credit, no credit, or good credit, okay? Carmarshal in the description box. Laura Calhoun tells John Gillen Savage, I would back off from the media frenzy. He is, of course, making himself the victim and telling Joy how you're hurting their relationship. All of the numbers for him I had are not working as of last January. She had contact just like Michelle Kramer, okay? Had access to her daughter and everything. Hallie was coming home and going right back to R. Kelly because her mammy did not challenge him on anything. She wasn't going to talk to the feds and wasn't going to never talk to the feds. Let me keep reading. She goes, I had to make myself act like a huge fan and feed his ego. Maybe see... She's saying if Neek can get him to call you, not Tim. And then she asks, has Azrael's family spoken with her? Be careful with Dominique's mom, meaning Michelle. Now, Laura, she been in there for a minute. She been in this clique for a minute. So if she know anything about Michelle, she motherfucking know, okay? This white woman know the business. Snitching on every damn body. She says, be careful with Dominique's mom, Michelle Kramer. I know he gives her money. Okay, now, this ain't the first person, nor the last that done said this shit about Miss Michelle Kramer. She out here getting her book deals right now at the expense of her daughter, but won't let her daughter motherfucking talk, okay, because she ain't about to ruin her damn money plan. She said, she also goes on to say, Laura Calhoun, Hallie Calhoun's mom, okay, Hallie Calhoun right now is on MTV wilding out, living her best life in the best ball player circles, and that's why she ain't gonna say nothing about R. Kelly, because this was the exchange that was made, and this is how Cash Howard was brought into the situation, because he transitioned their asses because he probably got them on tapes too with little girls. Now, she also goes on to say, it consumed my every thought for 3 years. I gained 70 pounds. I prayed without ceasing. I cried rivers. I thought Hallie was gone forever. She's okay, but still lots to process and deal with. I hope Joy will be fine. She's talking to John Gillen Savage. This is another mother confiding into another mother on how to deal with R. Kelly and how to get him to allow you to see your own damn child, okay? She also goes to say, I hope Joy will be fine when she leaves. They've all been traumatized, including her daughter, Hallie Calhoun, who's masking it on MTV Wildin' Out as one of them Wildin' Out girls. Okay? They've all been traumatized whether they acknowledge it or not. Bubba, Jermaine Mackey, okay? The gay nigga I told you about, okay? Sucking dick and recruiting for R. Kelly, all right? Sucking R. Kelly's dick and recruiting for him. Santi, all right? I forgot about Santi. Santi's one of the stage, I think, production managers. He helps to house the girls too. Diana Copeland, the assistant. All of his security and assistants are complicit if you ask me, okay? John Jalen replies back, yes, I know. Who is Santi? Do you mean us, Santi McGee? Because there's Santi, the stage production manager for R. Kelly, who kind of helps and assists and, you know, kind of keeping the girls together and keeping the organization in it for a check and $25 worth of food. And then you have us, Santi, the bitch who was just a super fan and helped to be a madam to some of the girls, okay? And offer some of her criminal ways to R. Kelly to get away with some of the shit that he thought he got away with, but now he's being investigated for racketeering. Also, she goes on to say, Hallie Calhoun's mom, Laura Calhoun, this fat white bitch here, Santi is the stage production manager, the big fat guy. He was there the week I was in Atlanta for Hallie's birthday last year. That was when R. Kelly gave Hallie the birthday party, okay? She goes, it wasn't easy for us. I had to play an Academy Award-winning performance to earn his trust. She's telling one of the parents how to get R. Kelly's trust. And listen, read this. I had to sit naked in a sauna and write a fabricated letter and sign the NDA just for collateral damage before I could see her, okay? Laura Calhoun, Hallie Calhoun's mom, this girl who is benefiting right now off of R. Kelly's transition package, okay? That Cash Howard is being investigated for, all right? Her mom said that she had to sit in a sauna butt naked, all right? Now, I don't know if she was fucking him. Some people do say they was screwing, but a lot of people say it was so he would see that she wasn't wearing a wire and she had to write a fabricated letter and sign an NDA just so she could see her own damn daughter, Hallie Calhoun, who was getting beat, locked away, couldn't eat, goddamn herpes and shit allegedly, all this shit, okay? And this is what she was willing to do, and it still has yet to cooperate with the feds on what's going on, but at least we'll give her enough credit that she did inform another parent on what to do, okay? But she just wasn't going to the feds shit because she played by the damn rules. She said that Dominique Gardner said he keeps the girls on Xanax, cocaine, Hennessy, and she told a lot of the criminal info supposedly to some other people, okay? I'm not going to release their names or anything like that. She also goes on to tell John Jalen on Facebook that R.Kelly is no different than Juice, okay? Juice was the 13-year-old that was trafficked by her own damn mother, Valerie Paetynn. And the bottle of pills that you see here is because Hallie Calhoun's mom, Laura Calhoun, tried to commit suicide over this shit because she couldn't see her daughter, but she still has yet to even work with the authorities or won't testify against him because he probably got some shit on her too, okay? And then, of course, shit hit the fan, just like it hit the fan between Tim and the Rogers family. Shit hit the fan between Laura Calhoun and the Savages as well, okay? Because she said, quit verbally abusing Joy. Just like I said, you're making a fool of her. Poor thing, okay? Now, she also called Tim and them a nigga. She said you're calling her a dyke. She's speaking in defense of Joy because she's learned how to deal with R. Kelly and get her daughter back and shit like that. And she said this is not the way to get her back, which I personally believe that. I don't think that that was the way to get her back, to put her out to the world as a dyke and saying that she has an STD, putting all her business on YouTube, embarrassing and shaming her. Stop it, okay? And of course, John Jalen replies to Hallie Calhoun's mom, who signed the NDA in a sauna naked, okay, a fake NDA. John Jalen Savage says, how are we verbally abusing my daughter Joy? Your daughter may have been allowed to freely move. She's talking about Hallie, but ours was not. What would you do really? If something happened to your mom and she missed the home going, really? Tell me that, please, because Joycelyn missed some family members' funerals because they couldn't get in contact with R. Kelly and R. Kelly wouldn't let her go. She also goes on to say, John Jalen, Joycelyn's mom, really, I do not think you have experienced our pain. She missed the death of a very close family member before all the media. It's not her fault. It's that monster's fault, meaning R. Kelly. Who makes a granddaughter miss her own family funeral? You cannot relate. These poor girls do not have their phones. Inflation came from V, you know, I think her name is Venetia. This girl right here, I told you, the real pretty girl, the pedophile and shit like that. I got her name wrong, but don't worry about getting her name right. You know her damn face. You'll never forget a pedophile's face. That I think she was trying to say that information came from V, who recently left, who knows a lot about what R. Kelly does. And maybe your beautiful daughter May has hers. Now, I don't know what she was talking about according to that, but it just lets you know how deep this situation is and how much the parents actually know, how much they've actually aided and abetted in this, how much they've actually pushed their daughters away. And you've seen some parents that have supported their daughters, okay? And so regardless of all the rumors that you're hearing out there, I personally worked with some of the families and I've received information directly from the families to explain how everything was organized and structured. And we've seen exactly how R. Kelly's predatory behaviors have just been evolving over the years, because when he got caught way back in the past and he got off, it was because of the same thing, all right? The little girl that was in the tape was paid off. Her parents were paid off, and that's why in the hell they haven't said anything to this day, okay? And won't say any damn thing because we all know how money can persuade people to do a lot of shit. I hope that R. Kelly is somehow charged with human trafficking as well as assault, and the Department of Homeland Security is working extra hard to build a strong case against him, regardless if the girls testify or not. No different than how they did Keith Rayner, the cult leader of NXIVM. These were old white women who were sex trafficked and human trafficked and told what they could and couldn't do and controlled daily by this man. But unfortunately, 19-year-old, 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 20-year-old black girls can't be brainwashed at all, but a 40-year-old white woman can, okay? And so everybody just needs to stop with all the assumptions and the bullshit and really look at everything as it is. R. Kelly had help to be who he was because he was paying everybody to help his ass, and they didn't damn mind doing it because we all know what po folks will do for some damn money, okay? Especially po folks with no damn morals or boundaries. Now I gotta go. Whew, told you it was a damn lie. Thank you so much for sitting through this shit. Imagine how it was with me doing the damn research, all right? Now, real quick, for those of y'all that have questions about expanding your wine tasting palate, you guys know that I am not drinking right now because I am with a child, okay? I got a few more months. Bear with me. I wish I could have a glass, okay? Whew, my 9th month, I'll be drinking red wine. I'm not drinking red wine at all, even though I have been told by my doctor that I can have a glass, but I'm just not doing it, okay? I'm a little older. I don't want my baby coming out with no damn problems, all right? Now, real quick, for those of y'all that have questions about expanding your wine tasting palate, I am personally affiliated with the Tasting Room, okay? And so for $9.95, you're going to visit their website using the link that is below this video as well as in the description box, and they're going to ask you 3 simple questions about what you like. And from that, they're going to curate 6 different bottles of wine, cater specifically to your tasting profile, all for $9.95, okay? Now, please note that this is a membership, sort of like a wine club. So the trial fee is $9.95, and if it's something that you don't cancel within 30 days, they're going to be mailing you the larger selections that they're going to hand select from vineyards all over the world that you may not have had access to. And hell, if you don't like it, but I'm not selling you anything that I personally don't like because I have it myself, please cancel within 30 days because I don't want you getting charged for something that you don't want, okay? The Tasting Room, the link is below in the description box as well as in the comment section, okay? Thank you all so much for watching. Woo, if you like this video, subscribe. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at UNWINEWITHTASHAK. If you want my YouTube consultation services, you will work one-on-one with me on how to build your YouTube channel, expand your YouTube channel, or anything in regards to building your brand and establishing it on YouTube, please book through my website, UNWINEWITHTASHAK.com. You can either book an hour or 2, and like I said, you will personally work with me, okay? And hell, if you have tips on your favorite celebrities, please feel free to send me an email personally to unwinewithtashak@gmail.com. I get all those emails, okay? And I don't miss a damn beat. And trust, if it's newsworthy, I'm gonna put your story damn out there. And hell, if you didn't like this video, you can still subscribe anyway just so you can cuss my ass out. Not that I'm gonna really give a damn anyway. Now I got to go. Bye.